Elara Midnight Symphony. On the edge of a tranquil village lay the Whispering Woods, a place filled with mystery and charm. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the woods seemed to come alive, revealing hints of its hidden magic. Tonight, something very special was about to happen. The creatures of the woods were preparing for the Midnight Symphony, a magical event that occurred only once a year, when the moon shone at its fullest and the stars danced in the sky. And there was one young rabbit who had always dreamt of witnessing it. Elara, a curious rabbit with soft, fluffy ears and warm brown eyes, had heard stories of the Midnight Symphony since she was a kid. Her grandmother would tell her tales of the beautiful music played by the woodland creatures, led by the mysterious Moonlit Maestro, a figure no one had ever seen, but who was said to bring the entire forest together in harmony. "Do you think the Moonlit Maestro is real, Grandma?" Elara had asked countless times, her eyes wide with wonder. Grandma would always smile softly, her eyes twinkling with a hint of mystery. "Only those who truly believe in the magic of the forest will see him, my dear," she would say, her voice as gentle as a breeze. Tonight, Elara was determined. She wanted to see the maestro with her own eyes and hear the symphony that filled the forest with magic. As the first stars began to appear in the sky, Elara tiptoed out of her cozy burrow, her heart pounding with excitement. The air was crisp, and the soft rustle of leaves seemed to whisper her name, encouraging her forward. If you could sneak out to see something magical, what would it be? Imagine yourself tiptoeing out, just like Elara. What would you hope to find? Elara hopped along the winding forest path, her ears perked up to catch every sound. The woods were filled with a soft glow. Fireflies danced around her, lighting her way. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as she ventured deeper, the trees growing taller and their branches forming intricate patterns against the starry sky. Suddenly, a soft voice called out, "Where are you off to, little rabbit?" Elara turned to see a small hedgehog waddling towards her. He had tiny glasses perched on his nose and a kind expression. His name was Oliver, and he was known to be the wisest creature in the Whispering Woods. "I'm going to see the Midnight Symphony," Elara said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I want to see the Moonlit Maestro." Oliver nodded knowingly. "Ah, the Midnight Symphony. It's not an easy journey, you know. Only those with a true heart can find it. But perhaps I could help you." Elara's eyes brightened. "Really? You'd help me, Oliver?" The hedgehog smiled. "Of course, but you must promise to be brave and kind, no matter what we face. The forest has its own way of testing those who seek its magic." Elara nodded eagerly. "I promise." With that, Oliver led the way, guiding Elara through the woods. They crossed a small stream that shimmered under the moonlight, the water glowing as if filled with stars. They passed fields of night-blooming flowers that swayed gently, releasing a sweet, calming scent. Elara couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder at every turn. As they walked, they heard the soft notes of music floating through the air. It was faint, like a whisper carried by the wind, but it was enough to make Elara's heart race with anticipation. Close your eyes and imagine the soft music drifting through the forest. What kind of instruments do you hear? Is it a flute, a violin, or perhaps something magical you've never heard before? They continued on until they reached a clearing. In the center stood a grand oak tree, its branches stretching towards the sky, adorned with glowing lanterns that seemed to have grown from the tree itself. Beneath the tree, a gathering of woodland creatures had already begun. Squirrels, birds, deer, and even foxes sat quietly, their eyes turned towards the center of the clearing where a small stage was set. Elara's breath caught in her throat. It was just as her grandmother had described. She and Oliver found a spot beneath the tree, and they waited, the anticipation growing with every passing moment. Suddenly, the forest fell silent. The fireflies dimmed their glow, and a hush spread across the clearing. From the shadows stepped a figure cloaked in silver, his presence commanding yet gentle. He held a baton made of moonlight, and his eyes seemed to hold the secrets of the entire forest. It was the Moonlit Maestro. Elara's eyes widened, her heart pounding with awe. He was real. The Maestro raised his baton, and in that instant the forest came alive with music. The birds sang in perfect harmony, their voices blending with the gentle rustling of the leaves. The squirrels tapped acorns together, creating a rhythmic beat, while the foxes strummed on webs strung between branches, each note filling the air with magic. The sound was unlike anything Elara had ever heard, beautiful, haunting, and filled with a warmth that wrapped around her like a cozy blanket. Elara closed her eyes, letting the music wash over her. She could feel the magic of the forest, the connection between every creature, every leaf, every star in the sky. It was as if the entire forest was breathing in unison, sharing this moment of pure harmony. Imagine you're sitting under the grand oak tree, listening to the symphony. How does it make you feel? Can you feel the magic in the air? As the symphony reached its peak, the maestro turned towards Elara, his eyes meeting hers. He smiled, a gentle, knowing smile, and nodded as if to say, "You belong here." Elara felt tears prick her eyes, her heart swelling with emotion. She had always believed in the magic of the forest, and now she was part of it. The music slowly faded, the final notes lingering in the air like a soft sigh. The maestro bowed, and the woodland creatures erupted in quiet applause, their eyes shining with joy. The fireflies brightened once more, their glow filling the clearing with a soft golden light. The maestro turned, and with a graceful wave of his baton, disappeared into the shadows, leaving behind only the memory of his presence and the magic he had shed. Elara looked at Oliver, her eyes still wide with wonder. "That was incredible," she whispered. Oliver nodded, a gentle smile on his face. "The magic of the forest is always there, Elara. You just have to believe." As the woodland creatures began to leave the clearing, Elara and Oliver stayed for a moment longer, savouring the magic that still lingered in the air. Elara knew this night would stay with her forever, a memory she would carry in her heart, a reminder that magic was real, and it was all around her. As they made their way back home, Elara glanced at the sky, her eyes catching a glimpse of something unusual, a trail of sparkling light disappearing beyond the trees. She looked at Oliver, her heart skipping a beat. "Do you think there's more magic waiting for us out there?" Oliver's eyes twinkled. "The Whispering Woods holds many secrets, Elara. Perhaps this is just the beginning of your journey." Elara smiled, her heart filled with excitement. She knew she would be back, ready to discover whatever magic the forest had yet to reveal. And maybe, just maybe, she would see the Moonlit Maestro again.